I have decided not to sign Bill 39 Draft 1, the budget ordinance. It will become law without my signature or endorsement, as provided for in the charter. I cannot sign a document that represents a lack of understanding of the why and how of government, county government. Their budget also demonstrates a lack of recognition of the efforts and experience of professionals who serve their community through county positions. Many decisions were made by the council based on emotion rather than on fact and a clear understanding of potential impacts to the community. Upon passage of fiscal year 2011's county budget, members of the county council made remarks that are deceptive, seriously misleading, and so flawed that they warrant responses. The council has overreached. They have failed to recognize the difference between the executive branch and the legislative branch. The council appears to be on a mission to downsize the county government without recognizing the impacts to the people on our county's 3 islands. And we are the only county in the state with jurisdictional responsibilities for 3 populated islands. Of course we all want efficient government. A more productive effort would include a fiscal plan that is organized, thoughtful, and realistic given the resources that are available. Instead, the public must now deal with some reductions in services along with increased red tape and bureaucracy created by those council decisions. The council made decisions that did not take into account the fact that county government's responsibility did not diminish as they eliminated jobs and ordered deep cuts to the department budgets. Now fewer people will have to do the same amount of jobs. But these decisions have weakened our capacity to meet our responsibilities that the public still demands. The council continues to misunderstand and compare government with business. Demanding that local government mirror the downsizing of businesses, the council has unraveled services and budget plans meant to carry us through difficult and lean times and prepare for recovery. Unlike business, our population is customer-based and our population has not reduced over the years. While a business's clients, those people who walk through their doors, can go away, ours have not gone away. They're here. We still have to provide services for all of them. Unlike business, county government must maneuver its way through massive amounts of federal and state laws, which no comparison to what a business has to do. And unlike business, the public demands transparency and accountability for their dollars, their tax dollars. Poor decisions were made without understanding serious ramifications. The public is asking me and others in my administration why the fire department's need for an assistant fire chief in charge of operations was not supported. I asked this question myself. I joined the public in that quest for answers. The job is vacant because the former assistant chief retired. The fire department received the largest cuts from the council at a time when our county is in distress from severe drought conditions, the worst in 30 years, and we have one going on right now outside that window above MauiNOW. The fire department is one portion of the entire $500 million budget. Yet it appears that they have been targeted for major funding cuts by the council. This includes the unanimous refusal by the council to fund the assistant fire chief in charge of operations. The council's approval of only 6 months of funding demonstrates their lack of understanding of the role this chief plays to support the communities of Maui, Molokai, and Lanai. The council mistakenly believes that a simple remedy for the fire department is to move money around in their program budget in order to find the rest of the money for the assistant fire chief's annual salary. Okay, we have a little graphic here. I can't help be a teacher sometimes. But here's the graphic. Just turn it a little so I can see it too. This represents a program budget for the Department of Fire and Public Safety. The total amount of the entire department is $26.9 million. There are 4 programs. The word is programs. Administration, maintenance, training program, fire rescue operations, and fire prevention. These are the 4 programs. The biggest one that you can see there is fire and rescue operations. $23.4 million with 279 equivalent personnel, EPs. Equivalent personnel means if you got 2 people working half-time, that's 1 EP and 2 people half-time. If somebody works 3 months out of the year, that's a 0.25 EP. So EP does not represent the number of bodies that are working. It's only an equivalent, what they call equivalent personnel. Now, you would think, because they're looking at fire and rescue operations, 23.4 million, that sure, somewhere in there must be some money that they can move around to fund the second half of the salary for that operations chief. However, the operations chief does not reside in that program. The operations chief is up here in administration and maintenance. And in a program budget, the monies can move around within the program, but cannot move between programs without a budget amendment. Okay, so there's where the chief is, here. His money has to come from here. This is where the biggest amount of money is, and this is where, because just of the sheer number, you can expect there are going to be natural attrition and vacancies that come up, people retire. So this is where savings would occur. If money is identified here, and it wants to be used here, we have to go through a budget amendment process. That process takes, in my experience on the council, has taken like 2 to 3 months to pass a budget amendment. This group of council members, had more than one of them, has said, oh, the mayor can just come down with a budget amendment and we'll act on it quickly. Well, I have yet to see something acted on quickly. Besides the time and effort it's going to take to do this, to move money from one program to another, time that could be spent elsewhere, it's just going to be, an unacceptable way to do business. The council has left the fire department the option to come to the council, yes, to plead for more money. That's actually what they want. They want the departments now to come to the council and plead and grovel and beg for money for them to do their job. That's what this budget represents. As a former council member, I know what it takes to do a budget amendment. First of all, the money has to be identified, and usually it's identified through savings or unspent funds in another program, or if you're fortunate enough to have income in your program, then you can identify that income that you didn't think you were going to have when you first made the budget. Then secondly, you have to do this whole process of a budget amendment, which takes a while. Like I said, the fastest I've seen it has been about 2 months. They could speed up the process. That's all technical for you folks, but the process could be speeded up if they took up the amendment on the floor at the council when it first comes to the council. If they took it up there on the floor and not refer it to a committee, that would speed up the process. If they set up an item in the committee already where the referral, as they call it, can go straight to that committee, they can have one committee meeting, they can pass it out, 2 weeks later will be first reading, 2 weeks later after that will be second reading. So now we're talking 5 weeks. That's the quickest it could go.